Thank you for making the effort to come in, and thank you to Higgs and Andrew. I've never been involved in something like this before, so it's a privilege for me. I want to keep this as brief as I can today, but it's never an opportunity I get, so I'm really grateful because I'm paid from the Home Office to be a police officer to come out and reach people like yourself. I can go and talk to private industry all day long, but I'd much rather help charities and local governments and councils and schools because they're the ones who haven't got the money. They're the ones that are getting hit as well. Just to put you into context, this is all about money, no matter how you look at it and carve it up. So for me to understand a little bit about you very quickly, I want to play a little game, if you don't mind. And that's how I like to start my sessions. Now, my first game I'd like to play is Never Have I Ever. Now, we could have played Spin the Bottle, but it's a bit early. It's a bit uncomfortable to start on that one, so let's play Never Have I Ever. And it's not here to differentiate age before you think, oh, he's going to pick on things that are showing my age, because I'm going to be joining in. It affects all of us, these questions. So the first question, if you could put your hand up, if you have you ever used the dial-up internet? Oh, yeah, most of us. So the problem with dial-up internet is it was rubbish. It was a pipe that was this big, it was a penny a minute, and it didn't really do anything. It was just new and exciting and fun and a bit different, and it was different to books and libraries. And what we've forgotten, and the reason why I bring this question up, is we don't realise how big the pipe is now. This pipe in the dial-up days was nothing. It was insignificant. It was barely working. You know, pictures would hardly load. I will not go into detail when I was 17 what I was looking at, but I never saw a model's feet. Let's just put it like that. Just, Mum, you can have the phone back now. Done. So next point is today, your phone, we sit here, hundreds of us sitting in a room, and each phone has, and you can't comprehend how much data could get through that pipe. Your computer on your desk has so much bandwidth now. You think you're doing A, that computer can do to Z and many more. 100 megabits, gigabits, whatever we want to call it. The Netflix film that you're watching 4K is 5 megabits per second. You've got a pipe of 100. You know, when you buy your 70 megabits per second, Netflix is only using 5. And you've got 70 redundancy. So what else is going through that pipe? That's why I asked that question. Just putting you in the mode. Who's rented a video from a video shop? Yeah, of course we have. Most of us. It's really weird now when people don't, because I'm like, oh God, you don't appreciate the pain of, do you know what? That was my media choice. A wall in the spa in Codsall, if you're familiar with Codsall down the road, there was a Bill Brooks spa, and they basically had that many videos, and that was my media choice. For many years, that Friday night, me and my dad would be standing there with £2.50 going, what are we going to watch this weekend? Twice. We're going to watch the same film twice. I'm going to have to rewind it as well before it goes back. The point I'm making is now you've got your fancy Fire Stick and all your channels and your sports, can't say that, and all your films and your Netflix and your Prime and all of the streaming service, and you get, no, rubbish, next, nothing on. You have the more data than you've ever had on an exponential level, and we're still bored, we're still saturated, and we can't find anything to watch. And the problem with that is then we teach our brains to be complacent. We teach our brains that when we're looking through those 300 emails when we come back from work, holiday, next, 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 and we start just sifting through stuff because we're just used to dealing with huge volumes of data now, and we can just sift through it. And it's a good and a bad thing, but obviously sometimes we fall down for fishing, and I'll mention that in a minute. So that puts us in a place. Nearly there. Honesty question now. It's not an information policy question. Who has emailed from their work account to their own account? Or back and forth. Yeah. Now, if you go into wizardchimp@gmail.com, it's me, or many of my other emails, you'll find that DC Howells emails him all the time. And so if you were to go into my private email, you would see he liaises with the copper all the while, and the data comes back and forth. And generally, I'm sending myself the addresses of where I'm going. You know, it's not about what data private information he's sharing. It's about what the link between the two, and I'll raise that in a second. But I'll recall back to why that's an issue, as long as it's managed. Who's anyone ever asked anyone the term ASL online? Ooh, a bit more difficult. Do you remember MSN Messenger? Age, sex, location. And you'd be a rubber duck. You weren't your name, you were a rubber duck, and you went on there, yeah, where am I? Minnesota. 27. I was 17. You know, I was a paramedic. And you could be anything you wanted to be. And now we've lived a life of social media patterns and pathways and different platforms. We have a whole treasure trove of information behind us that reveals loads about us. Loads about us that we forget. I'm not asking you to delete scorch yourself off the internet. I'm not asking for that. But I'm just acknowledging that that is us, that is me. You'll find me drunk on the internet. If you look for Neil Howells, you'll find him drunk somewhere in the corner of the internet, being dragged around the Civic Hall. It's just life. We've all done it in some way. We've all checked in at home with our feet, the fire and the dog and the glass of wine, and ooh, home bliss. But we've checked in with a pin to our house. And back then, we wouldn't have put our home address in there. Oh, hang on, age, sex, location. I better not tell him where I live because he'll come and find me and kill me. And now, yeah, let's go on holiday, airport, pint, let's go. My house is empty for 2 weeks, burgle me. So we just do it. We just got complacent. So that's what, it's not a telling off, it's an acknowledgement of life and the moral compass of what we used to worry about. And now we just go and talk to strangers. We allow people to come on Facebook Marketplace to buy an old mower. And we don't really think about who's going to turn up. We just want the money. We want the convenience of those services. Here's one for the charities. Who's given your details to a stranger on the street? Absolutely, I have. The other week, I gave my mouth swab and my DNA to a cancer charity. They wanted to put me on the database because I wanted to join, because I knew someone who was suffering from it, and they were doing a bit of a positive recruitment day on adding to the database. I didn't wake up that morning thinking I'd be giving my DNA to a company. And what's that company going to do with that information? Look after it, I hope. Well, you're talking to the person who sees them not looking after it. You're talking to the person who's about to go back to a company who've lost everything. It's all gone out the door and it's currently sat in Russia. Let me show you. Last question. Who's bought drugs on the dark web? Anyone? No? One. I have. Our job is to police the internet, and we buy drugs in our region to try and test purchase and then backtrack who's selling those drugs. So my job is to look after data, it's to look after safeguarding of young people, it's looking after violence against women and girls, it's to anything. And we do buy drugs, and it is tracked, and it does come in parcels, and it gets a photograph on the doorstep when it arrives. And we buy it because then we go and lock them up when they've left their fingerprints all in the packaging. So I'll show you if I get a chance. If we can squeeze it in, there's a lot to do. If I can squeeze it in, I'm going to go on the dark web and I'm going to show you some data leaks, and I'll show you how to buy a gun and some drugs if we get time. Right, let's get going, Neil. Forget this. So, she warned you. She warned you. 25 years, there's my CV. Next slide. My life has been digital forensics. I didn't join the police to be a police officer. I was 19, I was a bit naive. I hated it, but I learned I was a nerd. So I just found myself doing CCTV on CID, and then I went into phones, and then I've done 15, 20 years now examining devices and helping companies and various things. So I've done it for a while. Right, what do they want then? What do these baddies want? Do they want your money? Do they want our data? Do they want to shut you down? Any suggestions? Yeah, and their motives are I don't think they know their motives, because until they get access to a network or a company or an organisation, they don't know what they're going to do either. They know the police have got no money, so there's no point asking for a ransom demand from the police. But they want the data because that would be absolutely wholly... Do you remember the intel I've got about murderers and drug gangs in our region? Or they want to shut us down so we can't react to stuff. So if you think about a charity, you have tens of thousands of donors and members and contributors who they could then take over and become the charity and then redirect the money to them. And in small amounts, the bank don't want to know. I've just received this morning this week's summary of the fraud for the region. For West Midlands, we've had 3,000 victims. We've lost £1 million this week. Do you think the police can do anything about that on 3,000 calls with about 7 staff? Really sorry, here's some advice, don't do it again. We've got to stop it happening. Once the horse has bolted, it's gone. The banks are losing their money, and eventually they're going to get tired of paying out. And at the minute, it depends who's obviously being ripped off, but if companies are getting ripped off, if companies aren't getting their money back, and they're certainly not getting the insurance policies at a high enough level either. They haven't today. I think we spent $2 million this morning, this company. JLR are losing $5 million a day. You've read it in the news. They're now into a week, aren't they? Yeah. So the current threat, well, what's the current threat, Neil? Well, I'll go to these dashboards and there's arrows and numbers and statistics, and I hate it. Let's go and look at it in live time, shall we? Let's go and look at what's happening now in terms of cyber attacks. And so this website, and you're welcome to document these, and I'll share these with you if you want. And ransomware.live, there's many of them. They summarise the group's successes. So this is a page that says each company around the world that's been hit. Forgive the audio. If I look at the UK, so if I go to a world map and look at the UK, we've got one's not hard to guess, is it? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 I've been to in the last week that have been hit. Now, these are businesses, but it doesn't matter. They didn't go for business. They didn't crack the knuckles going, I'm going to go for bolt and nut in Cosley. They sent a phishing email. They did a network attack. The bit I want to talk to you about is what people do in computers and networks that allow these baddies in. I'm not here to talk nerd stuff and firewalls. I'm here to talk how people let them in. That's how bad it is. It's every day, every few hours, around the world, one's happening, because networks operate, criminals operate. It's not like we get one a month. The truth is, in terms of numbers, we don't know. I can give you annual statistics, but you won't remember, you won't care. But the number one problem I've got is ransomware. And what's that? Well, I've heard about it. Essentially, it's a way of them stealing data from your networks. They take your information and they say, we're going to give it for free. We're going to give it to the public for free unless you pay us a ransom. They've used software to get in by phishing or by a technical attack. I'm here to talk about phishing and how we can secure ourselves. But that's how they get in, and then they have this negotiation period. Because we're under the cosh, I'm going to go straight on the dark web and show you exactly what that means. If I go on another browser, and anyone's interested in a bit more of a slower demo, you'll find out at the end that we'd love to come out and do this with you. But I know I've opened another browser. I know I'm now on the dark web on a criminal website called Medusa. Medusa have 3 victims at the minute they're in negotiations with. They've stolen their data and they've given them a timer before they release it for free. And the ones in green, they didn't pay, so they've released it for free. I've got Franklin Pierce School down there, somewhere in Minnesota, Washington. And when I look at that one, all I did is, I didn't know and pay anything. I haven't logged into anything. I've just know where to go. I'm hoping that's going to load up pretty quickly. I'm straight to their data. I can download it for free because that school didn't pay that ransom. And we tell you not to pay it. Forgive me if it's not going to load. I'll come back to it in a minute. If you want to see it, I'll show you. But there are screenshots of the school CCTV. There's lists of staff. There's lists of the kids. The whole thing they had on their network has gone out the door. This company didn't get the money, so they left it. They left it there just for anyone else as a threat to the next company. I will do it in a second. Forgive me. Live demos are live demos. It's not that I'm hiding it. With the time we've got, let's make some money, because I need to crack on. So let me teach you how to make some money. My first one is Netflix. Most of us have got Netflix. They aren't going for you. The people in this room won't fall for a Netflix scam. They're going for enough people, though, that will fall for it. They send out these emails to huge data sets of email addresses. My email address is neil.howells@westmidlands.police.uk. So if you put a name in the front of the West Midlands Police.uk bit, you'll get an email to them. So you either find that on LinkedIn, or you just send every name and every combination, because there's no cost to this. You just send a massive data set to Higgs LLP.co.uk, or whatever your domain is, whatever your charity is, and they'll hit some and they'll bounce others. They won't get to the target. That'll be it. But with Netflix having 277 million subscribers at £10 a subscription, they make 2.7 billion a month, which is a lot of money for what you get for Benidorm. But you get 0.01% of that user base to fall for it. They make 277 grand. But I don't think they're after the money. I think they're after the login credentials, because most people will get a call to action. You need to log in. You need to change your details. You need to update your account. You log in. You give an email and a password by logging into a nonsense website that's not Netflix. And now they've got it. And now they can start using it around the world to see what their accounts you've got. And we see that all the time. We demonstrate that all the time. So what can we do? There's loads of ways they can con people. They can make a fake GoFundMe. They could pretend to be you using your branding. I mean, the hardest challenge now is you being unique and being credible to your donors that you are who you are and no one's replicating who your charity is. That's a massive challenge for those people in the PR and comms. Because as you said, Andrew, we're talking about elderly vulnerable people here who don't look at domain names and all the letters. They're not looking at the resolution of the graphics and the colours. They're seeing something on face value and trusting it because their British culture says if it looks right, they'll click on it and they'll interact with it. That's just how it was. They were on dial-up. They also remember life way before dial-up as well. You know, it's just the steady progression has caught them out, and they're the ones with the money, and they're the ones that you're not getting the money from because they've been conned. What can we do? Behave yourself. Change your behaviour. Don't click on phishing links. We're going to send you test fit emails. And I'm all for those ideas, but I just think that means you're telling off your staff. You need to understand what the baddies are doing, and that's what I'm going to try and squeeze into these few minutes that I've got. Passwords are the only thing that a company or an institution gives the user as free license now. They make you multi-factor. They make you get one-time passcodes. They make you validate who you are. They make you use ID cards or whatever it is, or fingerprints. The thing they give you as a password is the bit that the criminal can copy because it's just words. So let me show you how to hack a password. Because if you've got a fake login, like an Office 365, and you click on Netflix or your work say that your payroll say you need to log in and update your pension and conditions and terms and agree to it, you're going to click it. If it's the right pitch, it's the right makes sense, you're going to click it and you're going to click accept. And then they're in, because what you think you've clicked, you've just given them your login details. They can then be you somewhere else in the world. It's down to the IT to fish that out. And they're not, as I can show you. So with passwords, we need to kind of just have a departure from that's why, because I've left it for too long. I need to have a quick departure to how we hack passwords. How do criminals do it? How do the police hack them? So we'll have a break in a minute. Let's coffee cup 1 is my password, okay? And I generate, or I log into a service. I put my PIN in my phone. I generate what actually is in the nerd world is a hash. What we generate is this random string. It's actually against the law to store coffee cup 1 in a computer. It's data protection rules, you can't do it. So what they do is they encrypt it, and they encrypt it with characters like you can see there. So when I seize a drug dealer's phone and I say, what's your password? No comment. Okay. I don't know what he put in, I don't know what he put in that phone to unlock that data. So what are we in? I can get the hash out of the phone because we're clever, we're in the cops. So I'll copy that. Sorry, I'm really struggling with a lot, to be honest. And I go to a website that anyone can go to called CrackStation. It's almost like Blue Peter, it's all here, look. And I say, have you seen this hash computer website? And they say, yeah, I have. I've seen it, and I think it is Coffee Cup 1. So I've given them the encrypted word, and this website has 20 billion pre-calculated phrases and words that can reverse it like that. I can put 20 in a site there. So if I send you a phishing email, you open it and you interact with it, what happens in the background, you send me your hash, because in this computer right now, my hash to unlock this computer's here. So if I click on a phishing email, I send my hash to Russia, they scoop it up, they check it on a database autonomously, and they go, yeah, it's green. And then obviously they start coming in as Neil in this network. And that's how they do it. So we try and put these measures in place, and unfortunately, they don't always work. So let's just have a quick test of Coffee Cup 1. So if it didn't work and it didn't match, let's say your password's good, because a lot of people in here will have good passwords. Coffee Cup 1 takes 58 seconds to crack anyway. So if you give it a computer and said, just go through the alphabets and work it out, it'll take 58 seconds. Madam, forgive me. I'm a married man. I'm a 2 out of 10, so this isn't some pickup, but just bear with me. Let me take you on your birthday meal. Where are we going for your birthday meal? I can treat you. I'll use police expenses, it's fine. Where are we going?
The Manor House.
Oh, hang on. Manor, and what do you have off the main when you go to the Manor House? What's your go-to treat?
Steak.
Of course it is. Do you mind if I get you a drink?
Wine?
No, I'm buying. Carling. 11,000 years. You're in my story. We can go back to 1 if you want, but I won't drink it. It's 26 centuries. That phrase you've generated, and I put dots in so we can see it, but it put special characters in to space out my word in my head. Instead of using the space bar, I use the dot. I haven't put a number on yet. 26 centuries to secure your account. That is what I'm trying to hit. That's what I came in this room for. Because the only thing that the baddies can do is be you using your password, and it's down to you to have something that keeps them out and just pushes them down the road to another victim. They will still attack. They will attack somebody else. If you want to go to Password Monster in the break, go and do it. Just try something similar to your own, because I didn't make this website and I don't know who the hell made Password Monster. Just one more quick one. Andrew, forgive me, sir, do you drive?
Yes.
What was your first car?
Holden.
Oh, of course, yeah, because it's a Vauxhall if you're from Wolverhampton. And what colour was it?
It was white.
Ooh, hang on. Did it have stripes down the side?
Yes.
What was wrong with it when you got rid of it?
It was completely dead. Like, it just wouldn't start.
In England, we say knackered. 2,000 years. So, enough examples. You're welcome to come and check with me and ask me how it works. If you can think of a story that compartmentalises something that matters to you, don't do chair, light and wall. Do something that matters to you. Ellie, dancing, Izzy, Roblox, my 2 daughters, what they're interested in. You won't crack it. So if you've got a good password, my final bit of advice is this. You need to compartmentalise those passwords. You need one for your centre point in your life. Your centre point is your iCloud to your phone, your Google account to your phone, your banking. That is a centre point that they can get into everything else and reset all the passwords. That's where they're going to hit you. That's what they're aiming for. When you email between work and home, when they got into work and hacked your work account, they can now get into your centre point, and then and that's when you hear people going, they did my Facebook, they did my Instagram, because these were linked. So have a story password for centre point, have one for work, because then those two won't mix each other, will they? If work gets hacked, you're all right, your personal life's fine. If your personal life has a nightmare, work's fine. And my final one is, I'm not going to swear, I'm on camera, all the shinging in your life, all the rubbish, the Netflix, the stuff you could log into with another account and get to the same information. If I log into Netflix, I can see Benidorm, so can you if you log into your account. Let them have it. Use a third password. And if you think about it, people go, well, I've got 126 reminders on my phone for passwords being insecure. If you compartmentalise those services, they shouldn't overlap, they shouldn't be intersecting, and then therefore you should be slightly more secure or enough to push them down the road to the next victim. That kind of makes sense, folks. That is literally common sense. Hands up, I'm not here to sell, and I shouldn't sell, and I shouldn't have this slide up, but I'm going to be naughty. Who's got clear score in here? I think you should, when you're writing down, write that one down as well, because you can go to Experian and get the official one, but they charge after 30 days, and they want to sell you all these bonus products. How would you know if a baddie had used credentials from a leak and applied for credit in your name? You wouldn't. So we advise victims of domestic abuse who have split up, when their partners leave them, they run up loads of credit card bills and then blame them on the credit, going, oh, that was while we were together, or loads of loans. So I say to the victims or the owners of those accounts, you need to look after your credit score, because that money makes the world go round. You need to know what credit cards you've got, what phones you've got, and if someone makes an attempt in your name, they'll tell you once a month, these applications have been made. And at least you know where you stand. Don't bother, your choice. I'm not telling you to do anything. But it's just quick, simple things that keep a lot of baddies out. Finally, we can help you. This has been a 30-minute pitch to just squeeze in as much as what I wanted to achieve in that time. I'm a police officer. I don't earn money from sales. I can't recommend products. We work with another police agency, a police inspector called the Cyber Resilience Centre. I'm going to give you my email on the next slide. It's going to come up, so don't panic. I'm not getting rid of it. That's the same QR code. It's coming to my email. If you email me and say, hi, we'd love some more inputs from you. We do a cyber escape room where we can do like a CPD team building day. We bring the briefcases in. We say, right, hack the criminal, find out what they're up to. It's free. We'll come in and we'll try and help your staff understand the risk, and whatever your needs are for your charities, we'll aim them to you. You won't get some like generic vanilla delivery. We've got loads of different ways of doing it. So if you don't trust my QR code, there's my email. But let's just see if we can. Is everyone finished scanning? Because if you have, I'll just see if we can get quickly onto that leak. So I know I've got a minute left. So JRFYQI. Let's see if this works. Sorry for the awkwardness. I tried to set it up here, but dark web being what it is, they don't trust me. So if I don't stay active, they kick me off. They're not stupid. Are you going to let me in? Yeah, you're going to let me in. Sorry, but the point I'm showing you this for is these leaks and these companies that are having these data losses, you really think, well, so what? It facilitates the lower level of crime, because then we've got 16, 17-year-old kids knowing how to do this, knowing how to get here, and then they make those applications for those finance in your names because your name was leaked on a car parking app. You know, there we go, published. There's a blue box there. You don't need special cite from the back. That blue box will give you a zip file of that school, the whole thing, whatever they had. There's the proof they were in, with screenshots of the CCTV and documents inside. If they've been leaked, they're on there. The only people that win in this game are the big players who can afford it. Adidas and Harrods, I cannot find anything on them. They have gone public in the news and said, we were hacked because of data protection, we have to. Information the Commission has told us to go public, but I can't find a full stop on either of those companies. And why? Because they got the money to pay. They paid the ransom and the criminals were honourable and they didn't leak it. All these agencies, charities, councils, the whole of West Lothian Council in Scotland, every file, every case conference, every school report for every child, I can get to in about a minute. Every single one of those kids. And it's just by the grace of God, most people don't know how to get to it. Thank God, you know, because we'd have World War III in our hands. I knew I'd cheer you up. I meant to mention that at the start. I'm the cheery guy. Folks, honestly, if we can help you, we can. We can give you. We've got a support network of police that can do a little health check at a distance. We don't investigate. We don't have anything to do with ICO. We don't have anything to do with data protection. We come in and we try and help you with the cybersecurity posture, not to tell you off. We'll give you advice. We won't tell you what to do. Please use us. If you want to email me and say, hi, I'd love to come and see you, your charities, and we're free. So thank you very much for letting us come and speak. I appreciate your time, folks.